Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, we're going to talk about another announcement that Binance made yesterday, and this was about listing a token called Internet Computer or ICP, right? So the announcement reads as follows: Binance will list Internet Computer or ICP and open trading for ICP BTC, ICP BNB, ICP BUSD, and ICP USDT trading pairs. Once the liquidity conditions are met, the trading start time will be announced separately. Users can now start depositing ICP in preparation for trading, right? So, what is Internet Computer or ICP? Internet Computer is a layer 1 protocol that is developing a decentralized public network for smart contracts to run at scale. The project aims to be the Internet Computer, providing the functionality of a public internet and allowing backend software to be hosted on the network. ICP is the native utility token of the Internet Computer and is used for protocol governance and network transactions, right? So, if you guys take the decentralized ecosystem currently, it's pretty much like a siloed operation where if you see Ethereum has its own blockchain and like there are different blockchains that are separate and despite efforts being made to kind of connect different blockchains through bridging, it doesn't really feel like an internet anymore. It feels like siloed sections of the internet, right? What Internet Computer Protocol or ICP aims to do is it's basically a layer 1 protocol that is developed to kind of like create this decentralized public network for smart contracts, right? And these smart contracts are scalable and can kind of like perform multiple different functionalities which will help boost the decentralized ecosystem, right? The project aims to be the internet computer, providing the functionality of a public internet and allowing backend software to be hosted on the network, which means when it comes to the value proposition, this project aims to kind of be this internet computer, and it does this by providing functionality to the kind of like the public internet system, right? And it kind of makes the decentralized environment as though as it is an internet where you can kind of access all this information, but in reality like you are not actually like doing something siloed anymore, right? And you can basically access it as though you're accessing the internet, while in the back end allow for software development to happen and build new dApps and kind of connect this decentralized space in one kind of big swoop, instead of having these separate blockchains with their own separate transaction speeds, transaction fees, and so on and so forth, right? I hope you get the point that I'm trying to make here. So when it comes to the protocol itself, ICP is the native token of the internet computer ecosystem, and it is basically used for protocol governance and network transactions. So again, it has a governance component to it, and it is also used for network transactions. So I believe you would be making payments for transaction fees on the ICP based on through the ICP token, right? Please ensure that you undertake sufficient risk assessment when trading newly listed tokens, as they are often subject to high price volatility. Again, this is something that you guys should definitely keep in mind. Although it's something that is communicated, but it's not necessarily followed. It is something that you guys should definitely pay attention to whenever you participate in any new cryptocurrency that is listed not only on Binance but also on any platform, right? Any centralized or decentralized exchange, right? So let's go to the Binance research page for Internet Computer. So the main heading for Binance, sorry, not Binance, like the Internet Computer Protocol is a layer 1 protocol to build a smart contract enabled public network, right? Again, pretty straightforward explanation of what it aims to do. It basically is a layer 1 solution, not a layer 2 or layer or some other kind of like a sidechain kind of a thing. It's actually the main layer itself that is basically trying to build a smart contract based environment. Again, this is pretty common. Every project these days want to be smart contract compatible, and therefore it is not surprising to see the internet computer aiming to be a smart contract based platform enabled public network. So you can kind of like imagine this to be like the ocean, which has pretty much all the tools or smart contract capabilities available for people to create dApps and create this one giant ecosystem instead of multiple different blockchains with their own currency, own kind of like rules and consensus mechanism, right? Again, I highly recommend you guys to go to Binance Research in order to learn more about this project. They usually have a decent amount of information for a particular project that they're listing, and this will kind of like help you guys with your own, do your own research project, which you guys definitely need before you invest in this token, right? So the internet computer is a layer 1 protocol that is developed by the DFINITY Foundation and aims to become a blockchain network that evolves the internet. This internet computer intends to extend the functionality of the public internet so that it can host backend softwares on a smart contract compatible distributed network, right? Again, there's a lot to unpack. Again, we've already discussed some of the key components of what it aims to do, but if you take the people who developed this project, it's the DFINITY Foundation which developed the internet protocol platform, and it aims to this project was created with an aim to kind of like have a blockchain network that evolves the internet, right? So when you are trying to like imagine the internet, and you think that the internet is already like filled with so much information and it's already well developed and well advanced, well you're kind of in a way misled to think that the centralized internet is kind of like the final scope of humanity's achievement, right? But in reality, decentralized internet compatibility is what is going to take us to the true levels of freedom, because currently if you take the internet, everything that we are doing on the internet system is kind of being tracked by pretty much anyone, and even though you may think that you are doing something with absolute privacy, you are kind of losing a lot. And the centralized nature of internet is it's sort of the biggest disadvantage that we can kind of say of the whole internet kind of like this platform, right? But if you take decentralized internet with unlimited connectivity between multiple different projects, multiple different dApps, and multiple different using multiple different smart contracts, that's where the next step of not only the internet ecosystem in general, but also for the entire decentralized space, right? And that's what is basically what the DFINITY Foundation is basically trying to bring through the internet protocol, internet computer basically model, right? This internet computer intends to extend the functionality of the public internet so that it can host backend softwares on a smart contract compatible distributed network. Again, it's basically going to be the internet with the smart contract based capabilities, which is going to be a huge deal, right? To realize this vision, the ICP strives to innovate on the dimensions of block times, confirmation time, and scalability of computing and storage power. So in order to make this dream a reality, the ICP protocol basically strives to create innovation on the dimensions of block times, which is basically the main limiting factor which kind of makes different blockchains behave differently, because when it comes to the dimensions of block times, that's where several protocols will be vastly different despite having some of the core components being the same, right? But ICP aims to do that by completely redesigning the dimensions of the block times, as well as confirmation time and scalability of the computing and storage power. So it's kind of trying to redefine the entire way we think a blockchain works, right? Basically, the main innovation behind the internet computer is chain key technology, which encompasses several new technologies, including the consensus mechanism, non-interactive distributed key generation or NIDKG, network nervous system (NNS), and internet identity, and more. Right. So again, there are some technical things that you guys can obviously dig deep into, but the main innovation by which the Internet Computer Protocol aims to work is via this system called this technology called chain key technology, which is a complex technology which encompasses basically several other new technologies within it, and it uses a multitude of kind of like these functionalities to come to kind of create its own consensus mechanism, which is very unique to other consensus mechanisms in other blockchains, right? And some of the key technologies or unique features that are incorporated into the chain key technology, which powers the Internet Computer Protocol, are basically non-interactive distributed key generation. Again, something which you guys can obviously dig deep into, network nervous system, internet identity, and more, right? So it kind of uses a robust set of technologies to kind of facilitate the chain key technology, which forms the backbone of the ICP protocol, right? ICP is the native utility token of the internet computer and is used for the following functions. So again, as we've discussed before, every protocol has its own native token, whereas for this particular project, ICP is the native utility token, and it is used for basically the governance of the protocol. ICP token holders may stake ICP in the network nervous system (NNS) to create neurons to vote on governance proposals and earn voting rewards. Again, just like any other staking or kind of governance kind of token, you can expect to stake your ICP tokens in order to use this complex technology and network nervous system (NNS) system in order to create or tokens or some kind of a feature called neurons, which will be used to vote on the proposals made on this platform, right? So to be simple, by holding ICP tokens, you can stake it and have the voting rights within the internet protocol system, right? So that's pretty much what you need to understand. Network transactions, ICP tokens can be dissolved and converted into cycles, which are used to run websites and applications on the network via canisters. Again, they obviously do have a lot of unique terminologies which kind of like makes the project a little bit more confusing. But the main takeaway from the second use case of what ICP token does is basically network transactions, which basically means people who hold ICP tokens, they can use ICP tokens to basically power or run dApps on the network, and probably pay for the fees as well for using those dApps, right? Just like how you would pay Ethereum on the Ethereum network as gas fees and BNB tokens as the gas fees for the Binance Smart Chain, you can kind of imagine ICP being the gas kind of like this token for the Internet Protocol system, right? You can basically learn more about the token utility of the ICP token by clicking on this link. The protocol consists of the following major components working in conjunction. Again, here they're basically trying to dig deep into the backbone, which is basically a combination of technologies that powers the internet protocol system, right? So we'll quickly go through this one by one. Network nervous system, which is one of the common terms that we are hearing right now with this ecosystem, is basically the underlying blockchain which controls the network and allocates computing power provided by various nodes. So what this basically does is it forms the backbone, as we discussed. It kind of creates this underlying blockchain on top of which the internet protocol functions, and it mainly is responsible for controlling the network and basically allocating computing power, which is provided by node providers, right? Nodes. Each node is a subnetwork within functional order. basically peer-to-peer layer, consensus layer, message routing layer, and execution environment. So again, just like any ecosystem, this also has nodes, which basically is a sub network that has numerous functional orders, right? Consensus, larger consensus among nodes is generally consensus mechanism agnostic, but always divided into 4 layers: a notary layer, blockchain layer, random beacon layer, and identity layer, right? Again, they are basically going in depth. What it is basically consensus is a it's basically how the network comes into uh, making a decision, right? Again, it has 4 different layers within the consensus mechanism, and these are the 4 layers that's shown on the website. Neurons allow users to stake their ICP utility tokens for voting power on governance proposals. Users earn rewards for voting on proposals. They can also unstake their ICP and convert them into cycles to power computation. So you kind of have this flexibility when it comes to the governance, where you can, if you hold ICP tokens, you can stake your ICP tokens and you can earn voting rights, right? And these voting rights are basically kind of through these things called neurons, which is again like something that if you want to dig deep into, you can obviously do. But the basic overall like bird's eye view is basically that if you have ICP, you can stake it, and by staking it, you get neurons, and neurons give you the right to vote. And these neurons kind of like allow you to not only like provide like vote on the ICP system, you will also be eligible to receive rewards by voting through your ICP, right? And you can kind of like unstake your ICP whenever you want. There's no locking period, and convert them into cycles, which can be used for computational activities within the ecosystem, right? So cycles are the computational resource, i.e. the gas required to execute actions on the network. So again, you can convert your neurons or ICP tokens to cycles, which basically form the gas. So if you see, ICP doesn't necessarily act as a gas by itself. You kind of need ICP in order to get neurons, which you can use to kind of like convert to cycles, which will be used as a gas within the ecosystem, right? Canisters, every canister consists of WASM code and memory. Unlike in other chains such as Ethereum, cycles are pre-funded in each smart contract or canister. So again, going a little bit more in detail, but let's not go that detail as they mentioned here. They're basically functioning in a different way through systems called canister, which is kind of like a unique code that kind of provides the memory for the ecosystem, right? Mokoto, a new WebAssembly compiler that is developed by the DFINITY Foundation. Again, additional information which is not necessarily going to be relevant for everyone. As of yesterday, which is May 10th, 2021, the total supply of ICP is 469 million tokens, and the current supply is 125 million tokens, right, which is about 26.65% of the total supply. So again, huge amount of token numbers indeed, and that is definitely in a way concerning when it comes to the ratio between the circulating supply versus the total supply. You can kind of see the huge discrepancy, which will kind of probably act as a deterrent for price appreciation, at least for the short term, right? But that's pretty much it when it comes to the Binance research page. Again, you guys can definitely go to Binance research and dig deep, and also access some of their some of the links of the project as well, including the docs and source code, as well as the social media links for this project, right? So let's go quickly to the DFINITY token, DFINITY website. If you go to DFINITY, that is DFINITY.org, which is where you will be able to find more about the Internet Computer project, because DFINITY basically developed this project. So again, they're providing some overview of what the Internet Computer basically is. You can kind of start coding. If you're a programmer who wants to build dApps on this platform, you can do that. It's basically stated as the evolution of the internet, and work from research centers in Zurich, Palo Alto, San Francisco, and Tokyo, or as part of remote teams. So again, by being a programmer, you are given certain incentives in order to build dApps on top of the internet protocol. SDK, build and deploy canisters or smart contracts. Again, canisters are basically synonymous with smart contracts, so you can kind of use that information when you do your research. Motoko, the most powerful smart contract language ever created. Again, just like how Solidity is the smart contract language, is the programming language for Ethereum, and Substrate is basically the programming language for Polkadot and Kusama. You can see that Motoko is basically the programming language for the smart contracts that are going to be used for the internet computer protocol, right? Build tokenized mass market social media services exclusively from smart contracts. So again, they have node machines which kind of like act as independent data centers for people who want to run nodes. They have a team of 188 plus individuals who basically have a lot of experience in computing engineering, as well as cryptography, as well as operational expertise, right? So that's very cool, and you can kind of access some of their profiles here on their website. Limitless blockchain with the power, speed, and scale of the internet, and they also have career opportunities. Beacon Fund, we fund those building dApps and internet services on chain. So again, another interesting opportunity. Again, if you scroll below, you can clearly see some of the popular news articles where they are involved in and they were featured in, and you can also sign up for their updates, right? Again, pretty straightforward website with a very clean kind of information presentation happening, and you can obviously gather more information from the website, right? So let's go to the CoinGecko page for DFINITY, and this token is currently unranked because it's still extremely in the early phases, and this project is basically currently trading at $388.17 at the time of making this video, and it recently had a 17.7% in the past 24 hours. And if you see, the market cap is obviously not really available because it's a relatively new token, and probably it has a market cap of less than $50 million. Again, due to its extremely high liquidity, you can kind of expect this token to kind of quickly gain its market cap pretty soon. But again, if you are looking to do your own research and buy a token that can potentially perform well, then this token may be a good option for you, right? If you take the max supply, again, as we saw, it's currently 469 million tokens as of yesterday, and the circulating supply is somewhere around 125 million tokens. Most projects have a max supply of 100 million tokens or less, but the circulating supply itself for the current the time of making this video is 125 million tokens, and with such a decent amount of max supply, the price is still like in the triple digits, which is kind of like very surprising, because for a token with such high circulating supply in proportion to its max supply, with its circulating supply exceeding 125 million tokens, the price point is kind of like quite expensive. I'm pretty sure that there will be some kind of like a correction that will come in, which will kind of drive this token price down, but it is still interesting to see the token price kind of being in the triple digits when the circulating supply is kind of like in the hundreds of millions, right? If you take the charts, for example, you can clearly see that this token was initially trading at $506 per token, and it was steeply declining, just like any project or any token that kind of like gets a recent listing on Binance or some other big exchanges, because people who receive this token kind of start dumping, and it dumped to a low point of about $272 per token, and then now it's starting to climb back up. And I do believe that it will kind of undergo some correction in the upcoming weeks and kind of like stabilize somewhere at around 250 or 250 to $225 range, which will be something that you can expect this token to reach. And like again, since not a lot of projects are being developed, and this project is relatively new with not a lot of new kind of use cases that it's kind of offering. I think this token can kind of go even to like $150 per token kind of range, which will be a really good buy opportunity, right? But I do believe that there's some kind of inconsistencies with the price per token value versus the max supply and circulating supply ratio. It will be interesting to see what its fair market value would be after a few weeks, right? But I do think that this token, this project has some good potential because it is trying to be a blockchain based smart contract project which tries to connect the internet. It's a big kind of like an ask for a project that only kind of like is available in its early stages. We'd have to see what kind of dApps are being developed on this project and how much transactions can be processed and how scalable it is in order to see if it is worth in any way a long run project, right? But if you take the Bitcoin comparative, on the other hand, it's pretty similar. This token was initially valued at 874,000 satoshis per token, reaching a low point of about 486,000 satoshis and a high point of 670, and now it's currently trading at 674,000 satoshis per token, right? Although we only have the data for 2 days, which is basically yesterday and today, we still can kind of like say with high certainty that this token is going to go on the downtrend or kind of going to move sideways for the foreseeable future until there is some major kind of dApps or developments that's happening on this project, right? This project is going to be competing heavily with some new and upcoming smart contract blockchains like Polkadot as well as Cardano, but it's also kind of like aiming to drastically kind of like remove market share from Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, as well as even the big giant Ethereum itself, which is going to be a huge kind of task for any project to kind of compete with Ethereum, especially with Ethereum 2.0 and EIP 1559 coming in the pipeline. But it will be interesting to see what this token price would be nonetheless. But as you can see, the token price, the token itself is very new, which means it's an extremely volatile token, and therefore I would say it's a very high risk token for any newcomers to kind of like jump into it. So I would definitely bear a lot of caution before putting any money onto this token, right? If you take the Ethereum comparative, it was worth 0.12 Ether per token and kind of like dipped and reached a low point of 0.06 Ether per token, and now it's kind of like stabilizing at around 0.09. Again, as I mentioned, since the euphoria about this new token listing has still not gone yet, I do see that it's better to kind of like wait for some time to see the token price kind of going down in not only dollar comparative but also in Bitcoin and Ethereum comparative, so that you guys can kind of like wait and purchase it when it's really low. And once this project starts developing some form of dApps, that's when you can kind of see this token price kind of bouncing back, because till then it doesn't really do anything and it's kind of like a high risk, a high volatile asset, right? But for a project that kind of aims to be the internet, a decentralized internet protocol that it kind of like wants to be, and the fact that it is listed already in exchanges, several big exchanges like Binance, Coinbase Pro, OKEX, Huobi Global, and so on and so forth, I think this project has some really good liquidity which it can kind of take advantage of in its early stages in order to kind of attract a lot of new users as well as veterans who are trying to seek a project that they can kind of get early on, right? Since this project is still early, I believe that there is extremely high potential for this token to make like sick gains in the short term as well as the long term potential. I think some of the best positives of this project is to try to kind of like be just not just any other smart contract based blockchain, but kind of be the entire internet, which is kind of like a big aim. Although it may be like it may be worthwhile to wait and see whether it delivers on its project, it has definitely started off on a good note. There are a really huge chunk of software developers and coders or programmers who kind of back this project, and they are obviously listed on several reputed exchanges, which means the liquidity is not going to be a problem. But one of the main concerns that I have is the extremely high max supply with an extremely low kind of like a circulating supply, which is going to definitely cause a lot of price slumping. And it would be interesting to see what would be the fair market value of this token in the upcoming days, right? I'm going to definitely have my eye out for this project, but please bear in mind that investing in this project is going to be extremely risky because of its low market cap and high volatile nature. So definitely bear extra caution when investing in these projects, right? Again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.